We have got our guest, Tim McCormick, our basketball insider, joining us. Hi, Tim. Welcome to The Hook.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good talking to you.
Hey, Tim. Thank you, man.
Tim, so the big news out right now is Overtime League. They've just raised a huge amount of money from big names. Jeff Bezos is part of this. Tell us a little bit more about the intricacy of what they are trying to do.
Well, first of all, it makes me feel really old, and it's hard to open up my mind and get excited about it. I kind of liken it to when we're hearing about name, image, and likeness. We have to completely rethink the way we do and see things. Do we want our college players to be paid? Well, I don't, but I think they certainly are a commodity, and they generate and drive a lot of revenue. So I want to see the players get a chance to get whatever they can. When I think about the non-fungible tokens, that's something that's hard for me to put my mind around. I'm not a geeky digital guy, and I would like to learn more about it, but it's still so advanced that it's hard to figure. When I think of Overtime, the majority of their money, and I know that they have Jeff Bezos and and some NBA players, and they've got deep pockets because of that. But I also think that being able to monetize their social media connections is really going to help drive the finances of this company. Now, do I want high school players to get paid $100,000 and leave their homes and go live in a little community? And I mean, it's great if they can make money, but I do know that one of the great experiences of my life is youth sports, playing for my high school team. The riding on the bus, and the cheerleaders are there, and there's hometown pride, and the local newspaper covers the team, and you win a championship and cut down nets. Those are all wonderful, great memories. And so the new model is a little bit unsettling to me. I'm very anxious to see what happens with it. I find it hard to imagine that this isn't in some way a scenario where a bunch of older people are trying to make a fortune off the backs and the sweat of high school kids. But I'm willing to sit back and let it happen and read and judge this down the road.
So this is something where, from the reports that I'm reading, they're saying that in September they plan to introduce this basketball league where basically they're going to be taking 30 kids from around the world, not just the United States, but they're basically going to take all the elite athletes and put them in their own high school. That now, once they do this, they forfeit the chance of them getting any NCAA scholarships under those rules, but they are going to give them additional money if they don't go straight into the NBA, but or they go into college, right? But so who would they really be playing against? Because this is going to be a school that in high school they're going to be paying their high school athletes. So you think that they'd be competing against schools like maybe IMG, who's also got elite athletes, but where those athletes are going to want to go to this new school that's going to be deeply funded, the best programs, the best equipment, and IMG doesn't offer scholarships for their high school students to go, let alone pay them.
What would you pay to go see this high school conglomeration of players? I wouldn't pay to see it. There's so much basketball on TV as it is, and players at a much higher level. So let's think about the kid. I mean, we're a little bit older, and so what does $100,000 mean to us as opposed to a high school kid? Like $100,000. Yeah, that's an opportunity to maybe help their family. I get that, but are they in a position to manage $100,000? What are they going to do with that? Are they going to give it to their relatives and buy a really nice car, and all of a sudden it's Darren, you know how fast that money goes, especially if millions of dollars can go like that. And so what is going to happen with $100,000? Also, they talked about the fact that, well, these kids we'll offer $100,000 worth of scholarships so they can go down the road if they don't make it into professional basketball. What are the chances that that is going to happen? Like first of all, they're not even going to a real high school. So are they going to have classes that transfer? Are they going to be able to get into colleges? I just have a lot of questions, and I don't want to see the kids get pimped and prostituted, and $100,000 is a lot of money, but in the whole scheme of things, it's not.
These guys, they got to know what they're doing, Tim. It's Bezos. It's Alexis Ohani, who owns Reddit, and he's married to Serena Williams. Kevin Durant, Drake. They can't be that dumb. I mean, who are they playing against? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, they probably play against each other. If there's 30 guys, maybe they have 4 teams of 7 or 8, and I think that they'll have games on TV. But you're right. Jeff Bezos is brilliant, and it's hard to accept new philosophies in life. Like when I started hearing about Amazon and I can just order stuff online and it shows up on my door. Like I would rather go to the mall and walk through and search and try to find things that way. It's what I'm used to. And I'm just now starting to get to the point where if I need a new pair of shoes, like I don't go to the Foot Locker, I just go online and it's there the next day. So it's going to take a while at least for me to understand what's going on here.
I'm with you, man. I mean, I'm in the same age bracket as you. I mean, you're a 10-year NBA vet. Used to play here at Michigan, and thanks for everything. How's Bally's going, by the way? We'll have to talk about your Bally's Pistons deal. But how about a kid like Amani Bates? The best player, one of the best players in the country, supposed to go to Michigan State next year. Where's a kid like that going to go now?
Well, I don't know, and I would love to see him at Michigan State next year. I think it'd be great for the Big Ten. I would love to watch it. I also think that from a long-term perspective, Amani Bates is going to be 30 and 35 and 40 someday, and I think he's going to have a ton of money. But I also think that spending a year being mentored with people your own age, hopefully attending some classes, dealing with tutors, learning how to write better, learning a little bit about history and some of your other classes, being away from home for the first time, being mentored and pushed and maybe yelled at a little bit. Those are all valuable, and he's going to make a ton of money. I would not want to see him go to overtime, my own personal opinion, because I think that there's a lot of value that you can take away from a college experience, even if it's only 1 year.
I think you bring up a good point. We're talking to Tim McCormick, Bally Sports, at Tim McCormick 40. You want to get a hold of him on the Twitter. Anyways, Tim, you mentioned a couple things, right? Because you look at this isn't somebody creating it that wants to make money from it because they have all the money to begin with. So it will take time because it's not the norm. But to me, this shows even more of the new technology, the new social media, the new different ways, and every different, you see, Amazon moving into the NFL, different things in all the sports. So I'm like you, where it's like, I see what they're trying to do. The thing that I really like about it is when they said they focus on education, it was the things that mattered, like the finances and the social justice and things for kids that age. Because usually the cream of the crop, it doesn't matter. They're going to be successful or not. Does this seem to more work for the guys that don't quite make it, than maybe the guys that aren't quite the stars in college or can make it to pro, but maybe secure something earlier on? Because that's how I sort of see it.
Yeah, Darren, I feel like the money is going to follow the players. And you might remember, it's probably 3 years ago, Ice Cube started the Big Three.
Yeah. Right.
And you had players that were kind of washed out of the NBA, and they played 3-on-3, and they played to empty arenas, and nobody really watched. But they found money somewhere. I'm not sure where. I don't think it was a winning venture, but there was talk that it might surface again this year. Darren, let me ask you a question. When you were 13 years old or 14, you probably went somewhere and played junior hockey, right?
Right. 15, but yeah.
Yeah, and so do you feel like you would have been did you miss anything by leaving your family? Because I think that there's a lot of benefits for a kid to be in his own household too.
Yeah, you know what the sacrifice is? The sacrifice, nowadays I think is different in the fact that if you're supposed to make it, you're going to get seen by all the eyes and everything to see it. It comes down to sacrifice, right? So if this is another avenue to, for some kids, because I also too, it's more that off the ice or out of the sport is how you mature as a person than it is honing your game. But it's all the things that you have to accept that you're going to miss out on, and you can't have it all because you understand this as a former athlete, and you're still probably a great athlete. But by the way, make sure we ask him about Easy and Bruce Lee by the end of this.
We will.
But yeah, so to me, I think I would have gone anywhere, and the fact that I'm being able to monetize, but you got to be a top 30 player. So I think they got something here in the world, right?
In the world,
and I think they got something. But I'm more like you, Tim. Is that let's wait and see.
Think about the fact that when a player leaves college a year or two early to go to the NBA, and people are complaining and they're saying, oh, they're not ready, they would benefit more from being in college. Who are we to say that somebody can't chase their dream? Right. And a lot of people don't make it, but a lot of people don't make it in a lot of things. And tennis players and gymnasts and football players and hockey players and basketball players, you might as well take your shot. And I remember I left Michigan a year early because I thought my draft status was about as high as it was going to go, and I wanted to play in the NBA. And I think a lot of people said, well, if you come back, you guys can win a national championship or you can get your master's or whatever it may be. I wanted to take my shot. And so I do have a special place in my heart for those athletes that are saying, you know what, if I can make $100,000, I can help pay off our house. I can, my family needs some things, go for it. And if it doesn't work out, at least you gave your shot there.
Right.
Timmy, what can NCAA do to counteract this? Because college basketball, I think, is in a little bit of trouble now already. I mean, people leaving after one. It's not the same as, when you were playing back in the day and you'd go to the NIT and play the consolation games and all of that. That stuff's done, man. It's like one and done. What can the NCAA do to save the bacon?
They can stop screwing things up. And I don't know if they're capable of doing that. It really bothers me because we could do a whole segment just on name, image, likeness and what the NCAA is doing with the transfer portal. Right now, there are approximately 1,200 players that are in the transfer portal. They told their current college team, I'm moving on. And if you look at the numbers, there's estimates that there are 3 players for every 1 scholarship that's going to be available next year. And so the NCAA is going to have to say to these kids, well, you know what, if there's no team for you, you left, you made your choice. But I think it was a disingenuous message to tell them that you can transfer immediately and be eligible because there's just not enough space. They're also allowing 300 to 400 players that played college basketball last year a free year. And I get that because of COVID, but they're saying you can go back to your school and have another year of eligibility. The guys that are really going to be hurt by this, they're going to be devastated by this, are all of the high school seniors that want to go play college basketball. Because if you were a college coach, would you rather take a high school kid who's probably going to transfer anyway if he's not good enough, and if he's really good, he's definitely going to transfer to a higher level, or you're going to get a kid from the transfer portal that's probably a junior and a little bit stronger and a little bit wiser, a little more experienced? I just think it's going to be an absolute mess.
It is. Dick Vitale has been big time on this transfer portal. And I read something last week that the NCAA is changing it for football and basketball now. Next year, you can transfer without sitting out. You don't have to go to a portal. You can just transfer, period.
Can you imagine if that's the way it was in marriages?
Oh, my God.
You get a one-time transfer. You can
That's it.
just leave.
That's
and
it.
We'll find some-
I'd be a first-round draft choice in that thing. I'm pretty good at that one.
Hey, we got a special guest that wants to say hello to you, Tim.
Is this my 6th grade basketball coach, Tim McCormick, there?
Oh, I apologize. Last time I made a joke about how they left you open, right?
Uh-oh.
Poor Joey.
Uh-oh.
No, I went back to the video, coach, and it was true. He was open on purpose.
No. It's always good to see you, Joey.
Tim, I always brag about how good I used to be in basketball, so don't tell anybody ever the truth of how I really was on the basketball court. That's all I ask, please.
A Pinocchio thing going. They would see right through me.
So what you're saying, Tim, is that you don't think that Joey would make one of the top 30 elite players to be able to play in this school?
You know what? I could see a role for him. He would be behind the microphone announcing the starting lineups before the game.
There it
There
is.
you go.
Well, that's better than what I thought. I thought he'd be in the mascot costume.
I am good at that.
Yeah,
you know that,
I know.
Darren.
I'm just going to your strengths, bro. You have that on the the resume.
Hey, Tim, I want to ask
Hey,
you
where
something.
are
Go
you
ahead.
guys? Where are you guys at today? Where are each of you at?
We're all here in our studios in Birmingham.
Right. Thank you.
We-
Why the fishing hooks on the side of the names? I love that.
You like that? Because our show is called The Hook.
Oh, good. I love fishing.
Isn't that nice?
We did it for you, bud.
We need
We
you.
knew you were
named-
coming
Thank
on
you.
this, so
I
we-
said we need to name the show after Tim McCormick because he's been so kind to us. He loves fishing.
Always.
We're calling it the hook.
Hey, Tim. I
No,
gotta-
so Darren, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So Detroit Tigers, Red Wings, Lions, and Pistons. If you had to rank the 4 teams at where they're at right now, potential wise, where would you put the each of the teams?
Like and as far as here's the difference between the Lions can get there quicker, but the Red Wings are the most consistent machine right now, and you see what they're doing, and even with the Mantha trade and stuff. But because Steve Eisman's there, and we know what he's got, I like what they're doing and changing the culture, even from the top in the Lions organization. But again, it's all, as the coach said, it's all still talk. It's not actions. The Pistons, hey. Troy Weaver's the guy where he's come in and been able to just execute his plan. Dwayne Casey gets these guys to play hard every night. And as far as the Tigers, I love AJ Hinch. I'm not a big Al Avila fan, but you know, we were talking about it before, starting pitchers. So if I had to rank them, you'd think I'd rank the Wings the highest. No, because the way the NFL is, I'd rank that the Lions have the potential to be the best, the quickest, because we're still on the Iser plan, and that's 4 or 5 years. We just celebrated 2 years of it, so we still got a ways to go. But it's the train that's at the station that keeps on going. That's in place, and it's eager for the Lions. And then I think the Pistons are they're the one. They're the chameleon, and I revert back to you. So
Yeah.
Lions are 4th, Pistons are 3rd, or the Tigers are 4th, Pistons are 3rd. Wings are 2nd, and the Lions are 1st, only because I expect big things from the big talk. Now I reverse back to you and say to the Pistons is because the work ethic's there. Dwayne Casey, you know, out of Troy Weaver's most, but we know gets these guys to play. There's young talent. You tell me, how close are these guys away? Is it a player or so? Because in basketball, right, 5, you need more than it. But I mean, a couple guys can change the complexity of your team. So you get the first-hand view, bro. How do you see it?
Yeah, they're getting better. They definitely are. And I'm perplexed every time they win, because I do think that they can get a transformational player in this next draft if they're 1, 2, or 3. If they get to the 6, 7, 8, then it's the same old thing. They're getting somebody, and maybe he'll be good, but probably not. With that being said, are they close? Absolutely not. And in the NBA, you don't win with youth. You need a combination of talent and older veteran guys. And so I think that if they were able to add a Cade Cunningham, a Jalen Suggs, and Evan Mobley, and then give it 3 years, then all of a sudden I could see them being a contender. When I say a contender, you've got to be 1, 2, 3, or 4 in your conference, maybe even 1, 2, or 3 with a legitimate chance to get through and get to the championship. I think that they're light years away, but they're so much better than they were last year. They're a lot better than they were when the season started. So I give Troy Weaver and Dwayne Casey a ton of credit so far.
Last thing, Tim, NBA, Steph Curry, what he has done this year, and his streak just came to an end last night. 13 games in a row, 32 points or more a game. He beats Kobe Bryant out for that. He's had 78 triples in that streak as well. To me, the greatest shooter of all time, and I've seen a lot of them. I mean, I've seen a lot of them. Is there anyone better than this guy, shooter-wise? Obviously, but I'm not putting him against MJ. But is this kid is unbelievable. I just want your opinion on him.
Yeah, Larry Bird was the best shooter that I saw, and he's not even close to Steph Curry. What he's doing is it's miraculous. And I read a stat the other day that just shocked me. His specialty right now is making 10 threes in a game, and he's made 20 in his career, which is just pretty amazing when you consider that second on that list is Klay Thompson, and he only has 5. Actually, Steph Curry has 6 this year. He has more this year than the second place guy has his entire career. And, on Sunday, I went to the park, and it was a beautiful day out, and I stopped and I was watching some ball players hooping on the asphalt, and they looked like really good players. And what I saw was horrific shooting from 30, 35 feet, the ball clanging off the rim. And I thought, that's Steph Curry's fault right there. He makes it look so easy. Everybody says, hey, I can do that. And now you got guys shooting shots they have no business taking.
Last question here again. So easy.
How many last questions do we have?
This is going to be the last. This is going to be the real last one.
No, you're the king of last question. So I get the second last question. But just shut up, Maz, and you know what? Hey, so our producer Easy here thinks he's a big ass jiu-jitsu MMA dude, and he said has arguing with Maz that he could beat up Bruce Lee in like 3 seconds and choke him out with his own arm. Easy, put yourself on camera. Does he have any chance, or will you tell this young punk he's got no chance? Maz, does he have any chance?
No, he does not. He has zero chance.
I think you could, if you gave him a baseball bat and a gun, he still would have no chance.
So put 2 votes for Mr. McCormick because
I love you, Tim.
Hey, you get 2 votes because he can dunk. So let's suck on that, Easy. Thank you, Timbo, as always, bud.
Oh, God.
Great talking to you guys. Thanks for having me.
Mac.
Thank you.
Thanks,
God bless you,
Tim.
man.
We'll see you
I
soon.
love that guy.
All right, guys, there you have it.
You know what I said? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I was cleaning my garage out in November because I had COVID.
Okay.
And I was feeling good, but we were outside just hanging out. It was beautiful weather.
Yeah,
it was
spreader.
I was just in the backyard. I was in my backyard.
Without a mask?
So, no. Yeah, without a mask.
Coughing?
Yeah.
Sneezing
No, I
all
wasn't
over the place.
coughing. I didn't have any of the symptoms. Shut up. So I find this big box of magazines and record albums and all of that. So I'm going through it, and I find a pristine NIT program for Madison Square Garden. Michigan was in the Final Four. And who's on the cover? None other but Tim McCormick holding up his Player of the Year award. And I took a picture of it. I sent it to him. I'm sure he's got many copies of it, but he wrote me back, hey, Maz, great memories, blah, blah, blah. But I still have that for Timmy Mack. If you're listening, Tim, I still got that magazine for you, man. At least I got to get it autographed, right?